All right, pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted via in-person and remote means. This means that members of the public body, as well as members of the public, may access this meeting in person or virtually. The meeting may be accessed remotely via the contact provided below, which is the Zoom contact, and anyone here clearly found it because they are on. When required by law or allowed by the chair, people wishing to provide public comment or otherwise participate in the meeting may do so in person or remote. Additionally, the meeting may be broadcast later by the town YouTube channel. Topsfield Cable Television is on and is recording. I'll call the meeting to order. The agenda we have is to review the meeting minutes, an update on current events, which there may be some, may not be a lot. I'm going to move order a bit, update the FinCom calendar with department meetings based on a conversation an extended conversation I just had. But review the initial town budget and review free cash and capital and discuss those. Okay. So with that, first item of the agenda is to review the meeting minutes, which Catherine sent out about, Heidi sent out about 2 weeks ago or so.
I don't remember.
It was either the end of December or the first day or two in January. So out there, and
I read through them. I didn't see any issues on my end.
same.
Glad to make a motion unless anybody had anything they wanted to discuss.
Let's start with the motion and then we can discuss.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the December 8th, 2025 meeting minutes as written.
Anyone have second?
Second.
Second. Okay, we have two. Any discussion?
So the only thing is, did you share the presentation that you prepared for the mascot? You know, I have that as you'll share it and.
Did not.
And are we then going to post it on? Are we going to post it or is that just for us?
I need to post it. So, I mean, if it's alluded to here, we should post it. So I'm going to shoot it over to you and you can put it with the meeting minutes and post that. Okay. All right. Thank you for catching that.
Sure.
I will send it over to you later on the course. Anybody have anything else? Any other comments? All right. All in favor? Because of the split group, we have to do a roll call vote. So instead of all in favor, I'll go through everyone starting on the phone with Catherine.
Aye.
Heidi?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Aye. All right. David says aye and Che says aye. And that is all of us except for Michael Hartman, who's not here. So that passes. I'll send that over and then we can complete that. All right. Next on the agenda was, as I said, I mentioned, I want to flip the order a bit. In talking with Kevin today, so their approach, they're not going to be through with the select. There's two things going on. Each of the town departments is meeting with the select board starting the next available Monday, which is the 26th. Certain departments, but the majority of the departments, or a lot of them, are meeting on February 2nd, including the clerk, accounting, conscom, board of health, council on aging, the treasurer, and library. So, hey, let's not make them come 2 days in a row, 2 days. Let's offer them that they can come on those days. We're going to ask and try and have police come on that day as well, which is February 2nd, instead of the 26th. Because the police, and then we would have DPW, fire, and elementary on the 9th. Which is what we were currently, so police was going to be January 20 and fire were going to be January 26th, but their budgets aren't being reviewed by the select board until the 2nd and 9th. I think it might even be the 9th, but coming into that, or the 2nd. So getting these other ones through and reviewed would be advantageous to us. That would put the town budget, the town administrators water and assessors is what we could do on the 26th, trying to put something there that makes the 26th worthy.
This is January 20.
January 26th, in 2 weeks.
What would be the 26th, which departments?
The town administrator,
Yeah,
the assessor, and water.
okay.
So we need to check on water
Mhm.
and see if that can come. The idea, again,
You go through the whole list.
yes, yes, and I will share this out, but the idea would be on January 26th. It's the town administration, water, assessor.
Right.
On the 2nd, the clerk, not necessarily in this order, just to be clear, but accounting, conscom, Board of Health, Council on Aging. Give people a minute to catch up. Treasurer. Yeah, a lot of these are small though. If you think about clerk, accounting, conscom, it may not even need to really come. We'll just, the library and police.
And police.
And police. If you look at police's budget as of right now, it's got a couple of increases and some capital, and then their capital items. So it's not,
There'll be some discussion.
yeah, there'll be discussion, but it's not, as we hear in capital, it'll be there'll be the tasers, the 2 vehicles, those types of discussions. And then a couple other things, their budget changes aren't significant. What this would then lead us to is February 23rd,
So February 9th is who?
elementary,
Mhm.
DPW, and fire.
And Shay, can we have elementary go first on the 9th? Because they're going to have a meeting immediately after ours.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do elementary, DPW, and then fire in that order. If that works for people. And then on the 23rd, go ahead.
Sure, is it possible to fire after the schools? And I only ask because I don't know if I'll still be able to be here for that meeting because time constraints.
Yeah.
A meeting with the select board, but
Yeah, look, we can see. The only reason I was thinking of that, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. It's just, I thought of the 2 of them and who has the longer commute. That was the extent of my, we'll do it
it
this
might
way.
not matter now.
It
that I think
doesn't
about
matter.
because I
It-
don't think
yeah.
I'll be able to, after the schools, there might not be enough time for
Yeah.
me to be over from the fire unless
Yeah. A question for this group, and with elementary having theirs. What's the reaction to a 6 o'clock start time on that? Is that feasible? If people say no, that's fine. We have an ongoing time, but if it's feasible, that would allow us to kind of shift things back a bit.
That's on the 9th.
On the, yes,
I can do 6 o'clock.
okay.
Fine by me. Yeah,
And Alyssa, would that work for the school committee, do you think?
I have no idea.
Okay, so Alyssa, check with them. I'm offering it because I know you
I'll
have a
text
meeting
them
now.
now. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's fine. We have time. This is a month out.
okay.
And then similarly, the 23rd. So one of the problems we have is with the Monday select board meetings and their budget schedule this week, because of how the holidays work this week. Well, they're always on the Mondays, but they're doing their meetings instead of having that off week. There isn't an off week.
Yeah.
Until March. And so we're trying to squeeze that. So the other one on the 26th,
23rd.
23rd, sorry. We were looking at bringing in zoning and planning and also doing the warrant, review of the warrant. So that would be another one we'd ask, and we'll get closer and see if we can do it. That's a little too far out to ask now, but if we could start at 6 instead of 6:30.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I'm fine with 6 just going forward in general. but
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I know, there are, 6:30 and 7 were a vestige of when all of us were coming out of Boston.
Yeah.
And now it's just, seeing what people have and where they're at. Okay. So again, running through this with what we're looking. The new schedule, and I'll email this to you before we leave here tonight. But would be town administrator, water and assessor on the 26th. Clerk, in no particular order, clerk, accounting, conscom, board of health, COA, treasurer, library, and police on February 2nd. And this is conscientious thoughts on my side, that the combination of fire and elementary will probably take up enough time that we couldn't put the police on the same day.
Mhm.
And that those two would take up more time, elementary and fire would take up more time than clerk, accounting, conscom, board of health, COA, and treasurer would. February 9th, elementary, DPW, and fire. FY on the 23rd, zoning, planning, and warrant articles. Possibly a 6 a.m. for the 9th and the for the 9th and the 23rd. And the way we'll get to scheduling it, the way the second will work is at 6:30, one of the groups will be here to start on the 2nd. We'll figure out who, but one that has enough meat, because remember, they start downstairs at 7. So there'll be this point where if we take 2 of them and start them here, we'll figure out how's the best thing between going here and going down there and bring them back.
I'm just curious, or question, does it make sense to do DPW and water on the same night? I don't they kind of go hand in hand? I don't know, does Gary get involved with water? No?
No water. It could, I think, one of the things we're trying to do, this year is trying to get through as much as we can with the town side of it.
Yeah.
And then transfer, because the overlap, I'm trying to, the departments I know are coming to the select board early, who already met with us, we're then scheduling to come here, so it's kind of because that overlap.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think off the top of my head, Gary. It might be going a couple days before that, actually.
Yeah.
I'd have to double.
So it'd
check.
have
I
to
was just
be,
trying to help Gary, I didn't know if he gets involved with water at all, if he stays around, but if he
No.
doesn't, then.
They just hang out a lot.
Yeah. Okay, I get that.
So it's really, tip with DPW, I'm happy to move something more to the 26th earlier with the town administrator, water and assessor, or I'm happy that we have a lesser day. And then, after that, remember in March, we get to the March 2nd, it's, then really, because we punched through most of those, it really becomes more, about digging in deep to what the select board has proposed. And really understanding that is because we've already pushing through those. While we kind of compress them and start a little later, we actually finish a little earlier in this approach. I expect that the elementary schools come back at some point in this, on the 2nd, the 9th or something, whether that's online or in person, that's up to you all. One of those two is probably best in person, but, and then, March 16th is when we're asking, begging, demanding, whatever the right word is, Masco and the elementary budgets to be finalized. Because if we waits till the 23rd, we can't make our schedule.
Are we asking them to come in, Masco to come in on the 16th, or?
I would love them to. Masco is not necessarily showing a lot. That might be the school. I don't know whether, that's probably gonna be school committee members who come in,
Yes,
not the administration.
I'm assuming it would be school.
Yeah. The 16th will also do the, review, we'll confirm the FinCom liaison ownership of the warrant articles. On that 16th. We'll have already started parsing them out, but that'll be the final,
March.
March 16th. Okay? I'll shoot this out to you guys. Let me just save it, copy, new
That was
copy.
easy.
Shared, Ella and I spent a good hour and a half putting that together. No, I'm just kidding, it wasn't that long.
We were together for for an hour and 45 minutes, but there were a lot of topics to
Yeah,
cover.
exactly.
All right, so I will email this to you all shortly.
Great, thank you.
So then so off of that, our agenda for today was to review the initial town budget, do the calendar, which we did, and then discuss free cash and capital. Those are the two major things. From a town budget, remember, this is a first draft. This is where we start. We have, we're gonna have this is not gonna be a fun year. Sorry, it's just not gonna be, it's gonna be a tough year. So let's wrap our head around that and say, okay, on the operating budget side. It's interestingly on the free cash side, just because of the swings, as we all know, and we'll talk about that more, it's gonna be a different discussion. And it might actually inflame the conversation on the other side, right? So we're gonna have to be able to explain that, all be able to understand and explain that capital, why the free cash is where it's at. Which we've already gotten one round of. We're gonna need to hear it a few times just so that and we're just snapping it back and forth and responding as needed, when needed. It's all understandable it all makes sense. It's just, having the conversation, hey, we're gonna be asking for an override. And we have this much in free cash is a tough flip conversation. But let's start with the overall, current events. Anybody have any current events? Anything they met with, talked with, anything, updates?
Yeah, I just, Masco school committee members have been meeting informally, monthly, and we have one coming up on the 14th. And I've been working on that mapping of budget line items so that we can see what structurally, if there's anything that we can fine tune, asking them questions, and it's not straightforward. In other words, the budget line items don't necessarily, it's not intuitive that they go into the reporting that they've done for fiscal year 25. And so I've been able to trace some of it, but it's not straightforward. So that's something that I will talk about in detail with Adrian and whoever else comes on Wednesday.
How are those meetings going? What's the?
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think Jeff sent out the end of year reports for 24, 25, all in Excel. So we can see where the numbers are coming from. And that's the thing, is what I expected was it was going to be, oh, this budget line item goes here. But the reporting is manually, there's like an addition of certain things, and I couldn't always say, well, where is that in the budget? So it's just sort of, I was able to tie it out, but not as straightforward as I thought it would be. So.
I think our account numbers might help you. Do you have our account numbers?
Their account numbers don't tie to the reporting account numbers.
Which, I mean, at some point they have to, because the numbers come from them.
I'm mapping it.
All right.
I can give an update on elementary.
Okay. Before we
They
do,
are, oh, sorry.
Any more questions or comments on Masco? Updates or anybody have anything they want to ask? No. So have they reacted at all to our request? Have you gotten any further clarification, acknowledgement or whatever of our request that they accelerate the budget cycle?
No, and I haven't been to the last couple of meetings,
Okay.
you know, and I haven't watched them either. But I've been in touch with Adrienne.
Okay.
She's just been overwhelmed, I think, with the search and everything,
yeah.
but she is very much, I mean, when she sent me this package, she did it like on the 19th of December. She said, you know, Merry Christmas, and she said, I plan on digging into all this stuff too. So, she's very interested in wanting to know where the numbers come
No,
from.
understand. I just want to make sure that, I mean, we made the comment to them very clearly that we need the budget earlier. They said, we're gonna try. We need to know
Yes.
whether or not, what their schedule is, so, because we gotta be able to plan around that. And it's gonna get really hard if it's not the 16th. Really hard. Okay, sorry, any other, no, Catherine, elementary.
The elementary school budget will be done probably on February 9th after they meet with us. They're going to have their meeting and wrap that budget up. They are committed to, they've changed their process. One thing, they were originally around 152,000 short, but they found that ClearGov was calculating some in the salary budget, the way that it was adding, it was like duplicating. So they found $100,000 just in math.
Wow.
And right now they've got a $52,000 shortfall.
Okay, is that based on, so is that their level service operating budget? Is that their, or is that their, we've cut it to make guideline, and here's the pain this is gonna be?
The latter,
Okay,
that they've cut it. And I do believe that it sounded like they will be able to cover that 52 without an override.
okay,
They're looking at bus routes, and increasing fees on consumables.
okay.
So they're trying to get there.
They're
Yeah,
trying.
Alyssa, do you want to add anything to that?
Melissa, you're on mute?
No.
Yeah, sorry, I'm double, no, that was a great summary. We will get there. It will probably be a bust, but we will get there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's not easy for any of us, but this is, okay.
Can I make a request on elementary school?
Sure. Your question, well, I was gonna say question, it's time for questions, so go ahead.
Yeah, I brought it up before, is what is the target amount for the stabilization and the reserve funds? What's the goal? At which point we don't have to fund them anymore?
So both of them have they have maximum amounts that can be in them. And 135, I think it's 135 for the reserve account. The stable is, there's the less restrictive of the two accounts for getting money out. There was and the other one was, I think already like 400,000.
It's some percentage, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's 400,000 or ish.
So the real question is, where do we stand now, you
Yeah.
know, and at what point don't we have to fund it?
Yeah,
And keep that in mind.
yeah.
It's a one too. Because I think they're each at 100,000 right now. Haven't they funded 50K each for the last 2 years?
Just once.
Yeah.
We've only funded it once. So there's 50 in each.
This year it'll be to the second one.
After this year,
Okay.
it'll be the second. So there's 50 in each right now. The one, yeah, is like around 400, and then the other one is 2% of net school spend.
Yeah. Okay. Other questions on elementary? Okay. Any other updates anyone else has?
Tom and I met with highway and water,
Great,
and amazingly, only an hour each.
Yeah.
We were able to get it to an hour each.
that's
Instead
awesome.
of going on all day, especially when Tom started talking water.
Yeah.
But, as I mentioned the previous meeting.
Yeah.
Michael and I also met with police, so
Okay,
we've had a basic foundational understanding of the
Good.
departments.
And I met with Amanda, being the liaison to the town accountant's office. She also gave me updates for the clerk's office, who I haven't been able to get in touch with yet, as well as inspection services office as well, so nothing too crazy being proposed in either of those departments, so nothing really much to report there.
okay,
Yeah,
Good luck. See you all later.
yes,
I'm gonna head downstairs.
all right.
all right, Thank
should be
you.
done Before I get back up.
Yeah,
oh,
give-
we are.
Give Dick
We
our
are.
regards.
Will do. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll be recognized very shortly, so I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you all.
okay, cool, so that's our, current events. For myself, I don't have a lot of others. We'll get into capital and talk that, and free cash and talk through that. And then budget, and we can just talk some of that stuff. I just had my meeting, an hour and 45 minutes with Kevin. It wasn't an hour. And, but, just talking through the town pieces. And, it's gonna be a budget.
I don't know if this is the right time to ask, but I was just wondering about an update on like the health insurance number. I don't know if that's now or for later
Well,
or.
it's part of whoever now or later, it's just
Yeah.
fine.
Well, I just read
Um,
in Kevin's budget message, they're budgeting for 11%, but
But
expecting it
it's
to be
sounding to
higher.
be higher. There is, so
yeah,
the short of it is, we have in the United States an incredibly broken medical system. This is not gonna stop until it collapses. Unfortunately, and we don't have the ability to fix this. My translation of that is expect 10 to 15% for the next foreseeable ever until it collapses.
Couple of questions on that, totally
So,
agree.
so backing out of that, yes, but for this year, the health insurance is discussing GLP-1s and the insuring those. And even for our use of that has done this.
Yeah.
That drug. And the insurance companies are being charged at about $1,000 a month per person. Just keep it a round number. So that accounts for a significant part of the increase. Not a lot, not a half of it, not all of it, but enough to push that 11% higher. They are taught, if they do drop the increase by the coverage of that, it may drop it down back closer to that 11. I've asked that we meet again with sometime in February, March, meet again with, and it'll be available to anyone here, with the health insurance rep.
He came last year and spoke before the select board.
Yeah.
That was there's a lot of good stuff that was covered there.
Yeah.
So.
And then we'll get to pensions is the other one, which is, this one I've asked for a very detailed meeting because I don't understand this at all, why it's going up. It's going up substantially. And I don't, I saw what the returns were this past year, and it makes no sense.
Mike has brought this up repeatedly.
Yeah.
We all know the stock market's been on a roar for
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
And how can our pensions go?
Right, so remember, it's it's more than three, but there are 4 or 5 major variables that are included. And some of the other variables they could have been underfunding it, which legally they weren't supposed to be, but that's possible. Returns could be bad, which if they are, we have a different, very much issue. Actuarial assumptions could have changed. That could mean that length of life could have extended, which is the biggest one.
Mhm.
You know, and that one periodically comes in and suddenly you've got a longer run on it. The number of people in there could, that are being taking it and using it could do it. But that one, our headcount hasn't materially changed.
I didn't think so.
So, not really sure where that one comes into play. But I've asked Kevin to have I want a meeting with the rep, and I asked him, I wanted a couple things. I want to know what the returns have been for the last 5 years.
Right.
And if anyone else wants anything, shoot it to me and we'll get it across to him. I want to know what the top 5 actuarial assumption changes are and what their material impact were. So that would be things like length of service. I mean, length of service that people stay in.
Longevity.
Downstairs.
Downstairs?
Yeah, so it's in the front room over there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. I went out. I don't think I went too far out on a limb to assume he's going there to see Mr. Cullen.
Don't go all the way now.
Yeah. Come out of the elevator, turn right. Thank you. Thank you.
Building is confused.
Yeah, downstairs could mean anything too. So basically, we need to understand a little more about that, but there are I want to understand the actuarial assumptions that have pushed this out. There's legally mandated to be fully funded, when all that means is that everything that any funds that they're now using, when it's supposed to be fully funded by 2035. I think it is 2032. It's somewhere, it's right, 2032 or 2035. And at that point, that would mean that all we're paying for is the present value of today's employees, and everything else has been covered of their contribution for this year. But we got to get there. And this tells me that with the stock market doing what it's done, it tells me that there's something else going on, and I don't know what it is.
What's that, $1 million a year, the pensions or more? I forget. It's a big number.
It's a big number, let's call
I
it.
think it was the second largest increase after health.
That makes sense.
Retirement.
Yeah.
$2 million.
2 million is where they're at, their total. That's what the budget is. There was a $150,000 bump.
So how much is health then?
Oh, health overall is over $4 million,
Yeah, so it's double.
right? I'm sorry, not health. Sorry, insurance overall is,
Health is about 3 million.
yeah.
3 million, okay.
Yeah, so health insurance and pension, $5 million.
So I know, personally, the health insurance market is crazy.
Well, tell me another,
It really is broken.
it's a broken system. And I'm not saying what we had before was better. I'm not in any way, don't take a political statement in anything I'm saying. It just isn't working, and we all need to figure out, make people try and find a better solution. And, I'm sorry, but I will now say something political. I don't know, tell me another place, and maybe it's not political, but tell me another place where I go to get a service, I never see a bill. I don't before, during, or after, until someone says, here, pay me this much. Right? Tell me another place where I go in to get something done, and I'm not getting regularly updates on what it costs. Even building a house or doing a reno, when they break that wall open and they see something, they're like, we got some more money to spend. And you get details. So anyway, I don't know. Okay, budget. Any other questions on the budget? Comments? You all have this sheet, both the omnibus as well as Michael's.
I did not send my sheet around to the full group.
Yeah, I don't have.
Oh,
But I'm happy to.
Oh,
share
yes,
the
please.
screen Or
Yeah.
send it around.
Yes, send it around. I'm sorry, I just assumed you had, sorry. I'll, share it here as well. You wanna just send it to,
You gonna put it up here, Jay?
Yeah.
Great.
okay, so this is a top sheet that just shows each one. And I added this down below, just to get us to something, each one at guideline and what that actually means. And then the known, what's the,
I didn't know what to call the I just called it current numbers.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
what we know currently. Obviously, Masco, Essex Tech Elementary. Well,
We don't have-
Masco, Essex Tech. We don't have anything.
Yeah.
I put a note off to the right here on elementary that we talked about the 152,000 gap last time.
Yeah.
Catherine has since provided a
details?
more favorable update, but I
Yes.
left that blank. Town, obviously the only numbers we have at this point, which above guideline, $292,000. And I've left, as the town budget did, health insurance flat at 11, although we've been guided that that's probably closer to 16.
Right.
So I've made a note off to the right that that would be another $140,000 above guideline. I've just created this tab as like to orient us, I think, to start any conversation on budget. It's like, this is where we stand versus
Each of these.
a balanced budget.
So if you take the extra 140 off of the insurance, it'd get it up to that 16% or thereabouts. And if you were to take a portion of this 152, even if it's part of that off of this, and then the 200 and the 300,000 that the town right now is over their guideline. If you take those, you're at over $500,000. Masco's, this is going to be unless something changes massively, this is going to be a 2 override.
I would assume we're gonna have the same scenario with Masco as last year.
Yes.
Guideline based budget, but then
With the enrollment swing,
that'll be.
Yeah.
Override number 1.
yes,
Then whatever they want above the guideline.
Yeah.
Would be.
guideline plus. Guideline, let's face it, it's gonna be, 2.5, 2.25, wherever, plus the enrollment swing. And then that, because of the other 2 towns. But that's where we're at. Included in this are a couple of things that are, the salary reserve went up. There's a reason for that. There's a position that they're talking about that is here that will be presented at a later date if select board supports it and an approach. If not, this number might come down a little bit, but it was held here until he gets to talk to the select board. Beyond that,
Oh, yeah, if you scroll to the right a little bit, I highlighted the 3 main things.
Yeah.
So salary reserve is the bottom one. We
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah.
34.9% above guide, or
let me kick
Is-
this down.
is
by
the,
1. There we go.
well, I can orient people. So, I'll just walk from left to right. Column F, this was the 26 final budget. Next column over these are the numbers Amanda provided, current draft budget. The increase, column J, percent increase. Then N is the increase above the guideline that we provided. Column P only really matters if you unhide a bunch of rows, but R is, so of the total increase above guideline, $292,000, where does that come from? So starting at the bottom, 32% of it is from salary reserve, 34% of it is from the pensions we already talked about, 17% is from public works. Those are like the big drivers just versus guideline. This was just sort of what I was putting together as I was thinking about it.
And then also included in salary reserve are the 4 contracts that will be negotiated this year, which is fire, call fire chief, and DPW, right? Was it DPW?
DPW, I'm putting live.
To be
And what-
negotiated right now to be effective July 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's also part of this budget, but. So that's where we're at. And when you come back, and then when you come back here and look at these and start adding in these other ones, update Essex Tech doesn't impact this year a lot. We're gonna go up by 1 or 2 students, we believe. I think it was 2 we went up by. So that will have an impact on us more than this $11,000. They are talking about next year, just this is for us for a future. They're moving to a minimum available seats per town. So each, and it's gonna go to a lottery system, instead of it being based on, you know, your performance in middle school and, you know, whatnot. It's gonna be based on, you have a floor. You have to have met a certain standard, but if so, then it's a lottery. The reasoning behind that was they were finding that the students that were going there weren't necessarily the students that needed that school, right? Because if I can get into that school and I can do, you know, I might be the one that can also do okay at this school at Masco, right? And they're all, you know, just as an anecdote, over 83% of their population went on to a 4-year college from there. Kind of not.
That seems like a very big change since I was part of the.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, massive.
It really should be 83% going into the
Trades or, yeah,
right?
yeah. And for me, I'm happy they're trying to address this, because to me, and that now I am getting on my own blow soapbox, but some of you have heard me. That school can, for the kid who needs that school, it can make a life-altering decision, change.
Yeah.
That can put a kid into a middle-class life that's a good life.
Mhm.
Who, if he didn't get into that school and that was the right place for him, he wouldn't have that, or she wouldn't have that. They wouldn't have that. Unfortunately, the kid, you know, that kid might be the kid that's down here on the grades or things, because the traditional school isn't the thing that's right for that person.
Yep.
So I'm hopeful that this helps. But the challenge with that means is that we're gonna next year at a minimum have because of how they laid it out and did it, we're probably gonna have a couple of people, at a minimum, a couple of people increase in our account each year. So each year will be 2, I mean, I think it moves up to 8 or 9. So it's 1 or 2 kids. No, I'm sorry, it moves up to 4 times 7 kids each year that would be accepted out of Topsfield. If 7 kids don't apply, if 9 kids apply, it's a lottery. If 7 kids apply, they get in, as long as they make the minimum. If 5 kids apply, the 2 other slots get put back and they go grab someone from one of the other towns. But the next year, we still have 7 slots.
Okay.
There's talk about changing this and looking at it. Some of the other towns want some different things, but that's the approach that's there for this coming year.
Okay. Okay.
We'll see. But it does mean we probably have 1 or 2 more kids going this coming year. Next year, that's not this year's budget. Because they do the apportionment based on October for what you owe for next fiscal year.
Would you click on the next tab, Jay? Yeah, I think this is what I was gonna suggest anyways. You know, clean view of the town budget.
Yep. Yeah, and then if you,
I'll send this around to you.
and then if you break this down, I mean, he's got it by
I
stipend,
broke out by each kind of row within it as well.
I'll have to study it, but
you know, so
that looks
it's,
like it gives a nice direct
Yep.
view, not by difference.
yeah,
You know, like the omnibus amendment, at the bottom, you do it by difference, like subtracting things. Which is a little harder to get one snapshot.
Amanda's file made it very easy to make this stuff. All the information I needed was right there.
The expense by category.
This isn't, I don't know if this is how
Yeah.
you all spent your Friday night last week.
So, but if you look, you've got, you know, like Public Works, Salaries went up by 2.9%. Wages went up by 1.24, expenses by 635, and this is great.
So yeah, so I saw, yeah, line 29, expenses, okay, of the total over guideline for the whole town, 19% of it is public works expenses.
Yeah.
Then I went deeper into the file, I was like, oh, I wonder what that is, and it's like, oh, sidewalk and road maintenance that got booted last year, and
Mhm.
trash, like
Yep.
contracts automatically goes up. Like, oh, okay, sort of makes sense.
So, okay,
But I will send this
Will you
around.
send that
yeah,
out?
This is great.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if this is helpful, I can keep updating this for
Yes,
each
please.
meeting and do similar versions as we get the other, well, we may not get as much detail from any other budget, but
yeah.
happy to sort of make different versions of it.
Awesome.
Any other questions on this? So that's our budget. That's where we're at. I'm serious. Before I walked in to talk with Kevin and I said, this is gonna be over $1 million override this year. 2 commas. I'm pretty sure I'm still expecting that. I just don't know how with everything else coming. And I don't mean here $1 million, I mean the sum total impact between Masco, town, everything, $1 million. It could be off by a couple 100,000, but either way, but we gotta,
You think that'll fly, huh?
I'm not saying it'll fly, I'm saying that's what's gonna get,
It
that's,
has in the past, that's what
yeah,
stuns me, but
Yeah.
for those of you just got your tax bills in January, you look at it for the whole year, I was up 9.4%.
mhm. Yep.
It really depends on, the assessed value
Yep.
relatively, but
Yep,
on average, it was 9%.
In the last 3 years, I'm up 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody just go whack 9%.
and well,
On
and
average.
fixed, and so. I think even at 20, you're down, I think the last 3-year combined average should be about 22 or 23.
Like, yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It's 20 something.
Think about that. Whatever your tax increase in 3 years. It's gonna, we've got some real challenges. We've got to figure out what we can do and impact it, but, and what we can't. And what we need to push others to do outside of our beautiful little town. So anyway, okay, off of the negative, the down, not negative, but the down stuff. Other item was the capital and the free cash. And I'd rather do free cash first and then talk capital. Amanda talked and spoke about free cash back in December and then shared some data. But I want to just do an open, what's the magic number? 3, 2?
3.
3, 8. 3, 8.
Thank you for sending this in.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that. I'm gonna stop sharing and throw that up. While I'm pulling up the doc, does anyone have any comments, questions, thoughts? I didn't pull this one up beforehand. Everything else I did.
I was just pulling up some files. I worked with Heidi and Amanda on it. Where did the free cash come from? Where was it generated? 'Cause obviously wanted to know for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
See if I can find it in this mess here. It's like winning the lottery. If you're not careful, you think, oh, it'll go on forever and you just spend it. Free cash, okay. Huh. It's right, it's FY 26, wrong year.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure I can find it.
I have it up. I'm happy to go through it
Huh?
if you want. I have it up and can go through
Do
it.
you? Okay, good. The only difference we had was how do we account for, one, the double accounting, and second, the treasurer. I think there was a 1.1 million between the two of them.
Sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe you can just read off the
Do you wanna-
numbers if,
Shoot it
Of
over.
interest to
All right, just
everybody.
email me, is that an updated copy or is it- just shoot it over to me and then I can present it up there.
Let's do, so you can actually pull up exactly what we're gonna reference on the DOR website too. Which you actually showed me, 'cause I didn't know you could pull it there.
Mouse broke.
I've got it right here.
One of you guys wanna email it over to me, I can just pull it.
I just send it to you.
You're awesome. Thank you.
I think there's a couple of really important things to look at here. In note, Jay,
Okay,
you
let me
know,
get
in
it,
terms of where it came from.
yeah, let me get it up.
Yeah.
There and then. Ready, oh, yeah,
I'll be right back.
there we go.
Fill up the wine glass.
Yeah, I wish.
Wake hot.
It's not loading.
Select.
I believe it.
When it used to be remote only, couple of them.
Oh, well, remote meetings, that's a whole different set of rules.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty good though. You turn the picture off, you know, and you can.
You don't need the picture. It's all about the receptacle you can choose. Coffee mug could be anything. Can't sit there with a martini glass, but you can sit there with the coffee.
This is red wine glass.
There we go, that's right.
It's frowned upon.
Jamie, so knows who I was talking about. I don't know, this is business. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. My Excel had something on focus, so it wouldn't load it in new documents.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. This up a little bit. Good, that's good. All right. Start, where do you want to start? Top or you wanna,
Well, so at a high level, there's like two different ways the DOR calculates free cash. They do the actual calculation, which is the second tab in here. And that is based on your undesignated fund balance. And they do undesignated fund balance, they consider what your receivables are, which is, they consider debt, like uncollectible as of right now. Any deficits, which would be for special revenue funds, so like a grant, if it's reimbursable and you don't get it by the following year in September, they consider it a deficit and they hit you for free cash for it. And then they offset it with your deferred revenue, which should essentially be equal to your debt, but in times, that's your overlay essentially, that's what makes it kind of out of balance is what you're holding for your overlay, which is like your allowance for doubtful accounts. So that's the calculation. That's the number they like to certify because it's a pure calculation. It's like based on real numbers, if you will. But then what they do on the side, which is your first calculation, the first tab.
Yeah.
That's their proof. So on the proof side, next to the calculation, they'll do like what what generated free cash in the year. So essentially they'll look at like your local receipts, like if your local receipts estimated are lower than your actuals, that creates free cash. Cherry sheet estimates versus actuals, unexpended operating budget, overlay surplus released if you did it one year and not the next. Changes in your tax receivables yet again. And then they kind of like compile all that information to say like, what's your generated free cash? So what happened this year was, and they compare those two numbers, right? So they're like the calculation versus the proof, they have to be within 15% plus or minus. So 85 to 115% of the calculation is where the proof needs to land. So this year, they didn't make it in the proof, but they needed to be in that 15% range, which I knew was gonna happen because of the double accounting, which is the primary reason they're off from the two. So essentially, the biggest driver of this year's free cash, which is why it looks like a big number, but I would encourage us not to spend it all, and leave it behind because it's a one-time thing. It's not something that's gonna happen again or happen year over year. But essentially, what we had historical practice was when you would use stabilization money, or if you were to use an overlay or any other funding source, we would reserve for it. And in municipal world, every single fund has its own like balance sheet, income statement, if you will. So each fund like acts on its own. And we were reserving for it in that fund, so the stabilization fund, but also reserving for it in the general fund before it was actually in the general fund. So what that did was it lowered our undesignated fund balance, which is our retained earnings, cash available, to like spend. So it was artificially lowering that each year as of 7/1, which made our free cash artificially lower. So that last year's, the number was 715, was what we were reserving our like general fund for, artificially lowering free cash by 715. And then this year it would have been 505,000, but we didn't do that because one, it isn't best practice, and two, it shows you what your actual unspent money is. And the other approach, it seems like it's like conservative. It's not wrong necessarily. The DOR is aware of it, and they're like, there's two schools of thought, but the actual approach we're doing now is the preferred approach, just because it gives you an actual number. It doesn't like subconsciously decrease your free cash number and show less available funds than actually are there. You know what I mean? So that's why the DOR likes this approach better. So that's why it's one time. It won't happen every year going forward. It'll just be this year where you'll see that jump in free cash. And then my estimate, I'm on the record, off the record, will probably end up normalizing out somewhere between like 2.6 and 3.2 million. So
Normal free cash.
normal free
Yeah,
cash,
yeah.
normalized when everything levels out.
Jay, I just sent you
Yep, I gotta share it.
it's really a summary of what Amanda has up here. And I'd just like to share that because it gets right down, at least from my naive perspective, it gets right down to the
Yeah, please.
bare essence here.
I'm all for making,
Keep
some
it simple.
simplified Excel sheets.
Yeah, I couldn't find any source of that double accounting, you know, in the balance sheet or anywhere else. I couldn't see it. So,
Well, the bottom line of that is it doesn't change the amount of money in your accounts, cash.
that's
No.
correct.
The actual, it's just an accounting.
It just
number.
restricted.
Exactly.
Well, in this case, it unrestricts.
Unrestricted.
It
But it
unrestricts
does not
things that
change
were
your cash
restricted.
balance. It's like-
Okay, this is,
That's gonna be very hard to explain.
maybe, I think this will be real helpful. Unused free cash from 2024.
Yeah.
That's an actual number.
Yeah.
940,000, which is
Yeah.
really in the low end. This was taken right down to
Right,
the
yeah,
minimum.
we went down, we were at our minimum.
Correct. Local receipts, less estimated. Just correct me if I'm wrong, 1.2 million, 400,000 of this was a treasurer timing issue.
Yep.
That now kicked in, so normally this would have been about 800,000. Cherry sheet, less the estimated for the cherry sheet, picked up 10,000, big deal. Over operating budget unused, 546,000. It sounds like a lot of money,
That's not,
but not when you look at it a percentage. It's actually, I think, very good number.
2.5%.
If you go any lower than this,
Yeah, yeah.
and, you know, we overspent so many accounts last year. We were transferring from every piggy bank.
I think this is a number that is a good part of this conversation is, look, there was, this is an important part of the conversation.
Right. Overlay surplus released. You got me this, Amanda's department, 90,000.
Yeah.
Overlay surplus, tax receivables, 118,000. These are all standard numbers.
So the 118,000, what that means, that means that we received a greater amount of tax receipts than we had budgeted, anticipated
Okay.
by,
So essentially, we had less debt on the books than last year.
Okay.
so, okay. Oh, is this primarily based on assumption of collection, or is this primarily based on growth?
Like, this is actual, like, we received, say you received, you had 300,000 of debt on the books last year. This year, you only have 200,000. That's a plus 100 for purposes of free cash.
Oh, because you
You
pay,
have less debt. Less debt. So the more debt you have, the more they hit your free cash.
okay. Okay,
I'm not sure what free cash deficits of 33,000 is.
That's your sums and your special revenue accounts. When, like, for example,
Okay.
your police and fire details.
Here's the other big one. Remove duplicate reserves, as Amanda said, 715,000.
Yeah.
So you get 715 plus the 400 up here.
Yeah.
You get over 1.1 million.
Yeah.
One time.
Yep.
This is the total free cash from sources here. The difference versus the calculator was 96,000, which is
They would say.
what
tax.
I learned from Amanda is free cash is not an exact calculation. It's a wag within 15%.
Mhm.
But this is, from me, my perspective, I find this easier to try to understand what's going on. The unfortunate bottom line is there's not a lot of room to play with in here. You know, we've taken this one down.
yeah,
This probably was close to 1 million
Yeah.
before we started 4 years
You
ago.
could even say fiscal 23, that was over 1 million.
Right,
Yeah.
just in fiscal 23.
Yeah.
I mean, we had
Yeah.
a conscious program year over year to bring actual to budget much closer. But last year they were almost too close.
yeah.
So,
I agree with all that. I would also say in 23, 22, we were benefiting from ARPA funds and one-time funds
that's right.
that allowed us to have a little more free cash.
Strange time.
But this number, to come in and say, okay, based on our budget to where we actually are, there are a couple of other things in there, but it's $550,000 is, that's not a lot. That's not a lot, you know, from a budget accuracy. That's
Just from the government
I don't think
funds,
you can argue
My
that.
budgets would never be that close.
No, no.
the interest we were picking up on the government funds was pretty significant. I mean, we had almost 2 million of ARPA at one point
Yeah,
before we started spending it.
okay.
Okay,
Questions on this? All right, so but what this means is that we have about 3.7 million in free cash. We, to Amanda's point, don't want to bring it down to where we had it this past year and had to have it this past year. And I'll add that this 715 is a nice bonus, but that doesn't come back. Right?
that one actually makes me a little nervous because we're just freeing up money we had.
Yeah.
We're not generating
Right.
one-time
No,
new money.
and that's why there was the discrepancy, because it's not generated. It's just been there and.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Where the 400,000 is generated.
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't.
Correct.
And so our target this year for free cash, our minimum, so our floor is about $960,000, I believe, or thereabouts.
So isn't it's based on 3% of the prior year's levy, that's the target, right? I mean, that's the floor.
Our desire is not to be at the floor. Desire is to have some more free cash above that. I'm not sure where that is. I think Kevin made a comment at like 1, 2, 1, 3, something like that.
I sent out a funding sources sheet that
Yes,
shows you.
I got that right here.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at right now as well. Cause that's showing your minimum was actually just over a million.
Yep,
Million,
exactly.
million
yeah.
15. Am I
Is it
looking at the
50?
right-
Okay,
am
I
I
was
looking
off,
at the
I'm
right
sorry.
row?
I was off on my math.
Yeah, so using what's in the proposed warrant, we use 1.2. Where did I say that? I have to, no, that would be the balance.
It's a balance.
Mhm.
The used amount
We're
is,
spending like 2.6 or
Yeah,
something like that.
which is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful.
2.6, yeah.
What was the name of that one? Sorry, funding source.
Funding source.
Yeah. So I had it open and then I just, let's see, did it click through? No, of course not. That's my email. Went, shared it and there we go.
So it's almost, if we stayed within guideline, any revenue in excess of what we budgeted is gonna be off, the generated free cash, you know what I mean? So,
So these warrant articles right now are basically to spend all of the excess.
yes,
Yeah. So we can go through some
We
of
just
these.
flagged everything that's a one-time thing and the initial proposal is to spend all of it.
Not all of them, but
For the most part.
yeah. Well, I think where did they put it at?
I actually got him to cut some stuff. I was like, you're doing.
So we're saying the minimum is the bottom is broken.
Yeah, so he's,
So we'd end
yeah,
up at 1.2.
yeah, so he's effectively spending all but, seven of this, he's spending 500 of the 700,000, yeah, so yeah. So let's go through this and let's talk through what these are, so you know, and it doesn't mean these stay this way. Tri-Town Council is our annual thing, this has been traditional, this is one of the ones we do, this is for the support the Tri-Town Council, which, and the kids. Program senior care is, Meals with on Wheels, and other things. This is an every other year funding request, for the GASB survey, so every other year we ask for money to do the actuarial survey.
And just so people know, at some point this was in our budget. When like free cash numbers were looking good during COVID and stuff, we did put it as a free cash use. Kind of, I feel like could go either way,
Yeah.
but that's just the background of it.
I agree on both sides, and I remember the debate back and forth, and it was whether there was a reason it was done or not. The argument was, it's not an every year event,
But it is
but it's
predictable every
predictable,
other year.
known,
Yeah.
and anticipated. So, there was an opportunistic piece to that argument at the time. We can figure that one out and discuss this one longer term.
The police. Part of this was.
The indemnity leave, I'm guessing. Actually, this one we'll have to hear more about.
That is for, essentially when we have people who are injured on duty.
Yeah.
We pay out through the indemnity leave. We currently have someone on there and we get reimbursed some of it, but not all of it. So that fund is running pretty low. So we need to replenish it to continue to have money to.
Is this the police person out on long-term disability? 90,000 a year we pay?
I think it ends up being around
So it should,
60.
yeah.
But
I thought we
have-
got fully reimbursed, that's why I'm.
We don't get fully reimbursed. So we haven't funded this in a few years, so that
Right.
was depleted.
So where does that stand with Neil moving her to permanent disability? I know she's been
This is
fighting it.
appropriate for-
No,
Um,
since it's a single person, you
Oh,
do that
okay.
conversation offline,
Yeah,
and you,
sorry.
as the police
Sorry.
person, you should be
Is there
having
any-
that conversation, but not in public meetings.
I guess rephrase it,
Yeah.
is there any possibility this could go away next year?
They're trying.
Okay,
Okay,
All right, unemployment compensation. Um,
So there's, do you want to hear the background on this one? So again, this is one of those funds that we're allowed to have. We haven't replenished it in a while. We haven't had to. We got some credits during COVID. They give you like, or if you're like unemployment rates are down, they give you credits. They kind of cover the cost for a bit. We've finally ran out of those credits this year. So we're starting to run that balance down. And so we're just replenishing that, but essentially we've been kind of holding on to some credits that we've had for a while, so we haven't had to use anything.
okay, facilities repair, this has been something we've done consistently, is just putting money into a repair.
didn't that used to be 30,000 though?
Yeah, last year was 25, before that I think it was 30, so they kind of,
Mhm.
I think there's a reason they have it at 35 this year. I think they're trying to replace computers, or I think they have a purpose for it this year.
But this is money they're going to spend. It's not to just put. it
Yeah,
in the
this
fund,
is,
so-
this, yeah, no, this should,
Okay.
that's not what it should be.
We did roll forward 8,000 last year.
Cause I guess a view of this that I would love to see is, because I made the comments like, oh, we're just spending all the money, but
Yeah.
some of it is to go into future funds that will offset expenses. It would
Correct.
be great to know how much is gonna go out the door versus being put into these like pockets for future. the
And,
future.
and replacing computers concerns me, because that really is should be an operating
Budget.
expense, a budgeted operating expense.
It might be in the, I couldn't, it was
Yeah.
one of those ones that they were like, are we putting it here or here?
Yeah, and I understand that there's a little bit of a shell game that you play with that to an extent, but ultimately computers are an operating expense. They have a known lifespan. You have to cycle through every year. You gotta do a certain number of them. That should just be an operating expense.
Is that better to do it every year, or we've been doing it in lump sums, I think?
Yeah, yes.
The town, I don't know
The
which
way-
is the better
the-
way to do it,
The better way to do it is to do it every year,
every year.
just
A
to,
couple.
Yeah. just-
Financially, it's better, but I don't know.
well, also it's better from a systematic perspective. Because otherwise what you have is you suddenly have everyone being on a 5 year and they start failing and suddenly, I'm sorry, that my OCD is kicking in. And so, yeah, I just have to, maintain, that's what every company I've been with, we've done, because if you don't do it, you just end up with 7 cars in your yard that don't work, and you gotta get to work. Yeah. All right, police cruiser, speak of the devil, 93,000 for a cruiser. And 80,000 for a command car vehicle. So in other words, chief's car and
And one cruiser.
one cruiser. Police department air conditioning, to install air conditioning in the police department for this first and second or second and third, the upper 2 floors. I forget how you remember. the
Second,
way-
and third floor.
Second and third, yeah. I mean, the building is technically 2 floors on one side and 3 on the others, right? So
Yeah, that's to put in a real system versus
Yeah.
the window units that they have.
if you go in from the front, you
You
can
go
step
up-
up the stairs, you're already on this upper floor, the middle floor.
If you come in from the front, you're on the first floor,
And there's
and
one,
then you go up the stairs a second,
Yeah.
and you go up again.
oh, there is a, okay,
So
okay, I guess
it's
I've never been up to
legitimately
third,
3
okay.
unbelievable building, we could never afford that one. That's a beautiful building, oh.
Police taser replacement, apparently the tasers are out of, or end of life.
What is it, 10 years or something on those? I don't remember.
It's an arbitrary number.
The comment I heard witness for you guys to assess was that it was, their end of life, out of warranty. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, warranties are relevant, you know, you
Yeah.
don't throw your car away when, well, but
Yeah,
that's another discussion.
that's part of it, yeah. Fire department storage building. And part of this, I believe, is justification of this is that with this building going away, which begets a question of, okay, where's the funding, the minimal funding from that building, should that be
Correct.
funding this? Right? I mean, at the end of the day, is, so anyway,
Are they building a big shed or what is that? What is that?
So it's kind of like, we have a few different problems now going on because that holds like the boat, it holds some of the fire equipment, so they're gonna need something for that. They're also trying to figure out where to put the COA bus. So they're trying to find like a carport type of thing, but now also the rail trail stores stuff there as well, so you'll see a rail trail storage building.
Storage, okay,
So that's storage.
yeah.
Those are weird amounts though, because it's not enough to build an actual structure, but it's a very expensive shed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a
So it's one of
Goldilocks
the-
solution, it sounds like.
Joke was, are you getting a Reed's Ferry shed? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
That's why I asked, what is 55 gonna get you, and then what is?
It's
the
too much for a
30
shed, but
the
it's not enough for a building, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
well, here. Yeah, 15.
But they must have something in
25
mind.
Or something.
For that.
Oh, that's
I
where,
don't know that it's very clear yet.
when we get, that's what we get to ask.
But
Jared
it's a
about.
good time to take notes on your questions. and-
Yeah. Nailed it. So continuing on, fire compressor and cylinder fill station, they're asking to do this. This is to be able to pump and fill their tanks, their air tanks.
I heard maybe I misunderstood. I heard they were gonna get a grant to do this and it was coming off.
They got a grant for the new tanks,
For what?
the new tanks themselves.
Oh, not for the filling station?
Next up, there's a request for a fire department command vehicle. But this would be coming out of the stabilization, the ambulance stabilization account. I just want to check something to make sure there was nothing else over here. Okay,
And there's two schools of thought that have been bounced around internally. Would love to hear your thoughts, opinions, but the way we kind of budgeted it out was like to kind of use the stabilization along the way for these types of things. Is another school of thought to not use it and buy bigger items later down the road to fully fund them. There's kind of two schools of thought, but for right now, we're using stabilization for that.
right now we're putting about 150,000 into it each year.
So still a net gain on the year on that fund.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is that the fund that paid for the fire truck, or that was different?
Yes.
Yes.
for a good. Truck was paid by a
You
bunch of,
did,
that was a good,
Okay.
that was about a third of it. A third
I was
of
just
it
thinking, because I remember
yeah.
that being about $1 million
Yes.
thing, right? So
Yeah.
I was looking at the balance of that fund. So
Yeah.
it's- Okay.
But we do about 100, yeah. Fire engine frame replacement, so this is we'll see, but there's concern about the fire engine frame. It's being inspected now. This could be $500,000. It could be $10,000. They're just concerned about it, so they're having it looked at. We'll see.
A very niche market.
Yeah, or just a really, really talented welder. Right. Elementary school gym and mats, this is for the proctor. And the gym is to do the proctor, you're the steward.
I think
Proctor,
it's Proctor.
I think it's proctor, yeah, to do the floor, redo the floor and put in new mats.
Yeah.
Public Works dump truck. Some septic improvements up at the DPW, a Public Works utility trailer. Library main entrance door replacement. At some point, we'll educate you to a little bit on the Gould funds, which is a great set of funds, but we're not quite sure where they come into play or not. It's a library set of funds that were given years and years and years ago. And they've two separate, one is supposed to be to help the facility and one is for books, books, for material. Right, not sure where it is. Library also has, you may remember this last year, to be a member of the consortium, your library has to, on average, every running 2 years, basically, like 2 years, or 3 years, 3 years, every 2 years, average 2.5% increase
Yeah.
in budget every year. Yeah.
But
But-
they don't get funding.
Or they don't get, or more importantly, well, you don't get to go use your library card and go to there and trade and exchange books and do
Mhm.
things.
That includes salary and wages, right?
Mhm.
But Mike Hartman raised the question about benefits. We don't include, or haven't included the benefit increases in that. Maybe that'll help meet that guideline, and I think it's a legitimate.
Yeah.
Too.
Cause we hold the benefits at the part, at the,
So interesting.
so insurance right now could have just for those 4 workers, could have kicked up to 2.5% or 5 to 6 workers, but anyway. Another rail, storage building, and I hadn't caught this, and you guys just did when I recognized that the fire department storage building was related to the building over here, but the rail trail is also. So now we're up to, between those two, we're up to $90,000. Remind me, what did we get with that building? Or what is do you know what the contract is?
For School Street?
Yeah.
I think we got 125.
And we spent 90 of it. Hey, I still want a restaurant. I'm just,
Pro restaurant for sure.
yeah. Tree removal, 40,000. I'd like to understand, we'll ask questions about that, about where that is. Is that just the general tree?
Yeah, we gave 50,000 of 2 years ago, maybe, for tree removal and
Yeah, that was the
It's
same
only-
year. We also gave 40,000 or something for tree planting.
So they did, what the select board actually voted on for this one was to make it tree removal and plantings. So it's kind of just like bucketed into one to take out the dead ones, put in new ones.
So, the water enterprise, I believe that's this one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, retained earnings from water enterprise is funding 200,000, well, back to the septic improvements for DPW, 9,000 of that, or a third of it almost. And 200,000 of the water pressure, for water pressure zones, out of the enterprise fund. Retained earnings. Elementary school stabilization and reserve, we're kicking a 50 into each of those two. It was what's being asked for. OPEB, we are bringing up to 440. If you remember last year, we talked about maybe revisiting our policy. With there was a combination of the free cash and the desire to go out for debt that had the town administrator saying, I'd rather wait a year to review the policy. Translation, we have cash, keep putting it into it, and don't change your policy as you're about to transfer a bunch of bands into actual bonds. So the two of those is why we haven't, although if you guys feel differently, that's why I haven't followed up on it. But if you feel differently, we can reevaluate OPEB and what we want to do there.
Yeah, we were curious as to where we stand in the payments, Jay.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about
Yeah.
how much is,
Where are we at in
yeah,
November?
how much is going towards future liabilities, reducing that?
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
bond, like a
Yeah.
mortgage.
Yep. So that, and,
I actually have the materials from Morgan, and I can dig into them
Yeah.
and come back with a.
so that, and that's where, so we have that's the Gatsby. Didn't we, the pension should have come out. The pension assessment should have come out.
Yeah, but that's in the budget.
No, but the actual, I'm not the pension, sorry. The OPEB actuarial study results should be,
I think I sent them to you a couple meetings
Okay.
ago. I can resend them to.
no, let me go look and see. I think,
And while he's looking for that, there is a training through the DOR for financial policies, which I'm going to in the end of the month. And so essentially they're giving you ideas on like kind of how they recommend you have your financial policies. But if you guys have any questions or like you're curious about anything like this OPEB and stuff, feel free to send me questions and I'm happy to ask.
Yeah.
You going to?
I was thinking about it. I did see that. Is Sean Cronin putting that on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do, I have it here. Yeah, this was,
I had a question, Amanda, on the capital stabilization and general stabilization. Those are very odd numbers.
Those are to refund what we took out last year. So it's like the exact amount we took out last year.
So that would bring it back to where it was 2 years ago. It would not increase it.
Correct.
Okay.
To Michael's question earlier, I think about a little under 1.2 is going to like reserves essentially or for future funding.
My inclination would be to build up the capital stabilization. With any free cash we have available. Knowing that Masco has been threatening for 5 or 10 years to come in with a big capital ask.
they're coming.
Yeah, they're coming, see,
Yeah,
that's a 5-year.
Mhm.
Repeat, I've heard, but.
well, they're talking, they got the SBA approval to move forward, which makes it real. So they're probably this year gonna come, I'm guessing at this point, gonna come with for the OPM, for the project manager, the owner's project manager, which is probably a few $1 million. Their total on everything is a lot more than that.
How much more? Usually the OPM is 10%, right?
So,
We're
no,
like 3 to 5. and
Yeah.
then
That's all?
The
Good.
design or architect will be like 10%.
so I don't have a number because I don't, they're, all the things they're talking about, they talk about 3 fields, 2 fields. They talk at 1 field, they talk about
Right.
softball, they talk about fixing the football stadium, they talk about a lot of different things. And until they coalesce as a group around which ones they're gonna do, that number could be $30 million, that number could be $200 million. I don't use it 200 million, I'm trying to say, they've talked about all these things, and if you add all these things up, it doesn't mean they're gonna do them all. But they're just not at a place yet that they know, these are the ones we're going to target.
So they
They
just
talked
got the
about for years upgrading the facility, the high vac and so forth.
So in
Yeah.
this will be the HVAC and the envelope of the building.
in the
Okay.
the roof.
Yeah,
The roof, yeah.
the roof and HVAC. And not necessarily full envelope, but some work on the envelope. It may be just on the roof, the edge of the drips and whatnot. And then that piece is kind of a known, and then the fields. And the fields is where you get into the turf fields
Yeah.
and all those conversations. There's no clear answer yet.
Here's a question I have for everybody. Do you feel comfortable combining 2 completely different capital into one request? Or should it be 2 separate requests? One, maintaining and upgrading the buildings, second, the athletics.
So unfortunately, yes, I agree with you on that. Unfortunately, the struggle, and it may come down to that, the struggle is also, how did they put, and I don't know the answer, how did they put it into the SBA,
Right.
right?
With their application.
Yeah.
That's what,
Yeah.
So that's why.
So we don't have any answers right now. It's not, the latest I've heard is it's not coming. The OPM will likely come as part of our budgets this year. The rest of it is probably either a special town meeting sometime in the fall into winter, or this is what we're asking for as a project, or it's next year's town meeting. Because of the SBA, that kind of drives some of the timelines, and I don't have enough information to judge that.
Yeah, the draft warrant Kevin sent around at the end, it had $5 million.
That's the OPM. That's high. I don't know.
That could have been just a placeholder,
Yeah.
Personal feeling, they're 2 separate issues, the voters have a right to vote on them separately.
I've
That's
already
why,
heard from somebody who says I do not want it combined as one.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Because of the fields are contentious,
Yeah.
right? turf is contentious.
So that's how we'll, yeah, and I just, we can communicate that, you know, people can communicate that. We'll see what,
Yeah, communicate that to your,
so we are basically, depending on how you measure the liability, we are either 20 or 25% covered on our OPEB. Which sounds depressingly low until you realize we're also probably one of the highest towns in the state. For this.
I want to say that jump from 20 to 25 just in the past year. I looked at this a while ago. I
Yeah.
just don't remember. But it was
So, well,
but I think that had to do with the return.
We increased that contribution by 20 grand every year,
yeah,
right? So
440 this year, 420 last year, 460 next year. Once we get to 500,000, we go until, currently what we're planning is until OPEB, until pensions are fully funded. Then we take the excess that we've been funding pensions and we put it towards this. So in 2034, 35, whatever that year is, we start putting, you know, $200,000 or $300,000 more into it. As well.
And that pension number is currently just in the pension line item. It's all one, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the funding and then extra.
Right.
Like OPEB.
the OPEB liability check, that is for future health insurance costs.
Health insurance costs for the town employees, not, so to be,
So
Yeah.
my next question is, the explosion in health insurance costs explodes the future liability, so it's almost like you can't catch up,
mhm,
It's-
if I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah.
It's not like a fixed mortgage.
yeah,
No, I mean, they should be updating their assumptions, which are not in our favor, but they should be doing that, right?
I would agree, although for whatever reason,
Oh, although no,
Medic-
we're paying, oh, never mind.
so one of the things, medical care cost inflation rate, we currently assume medical costs increase according to the Getson model of long-run medical cost trends for active and Medicare supplement plans, which is includes an assumed 4.96% increase.
So they're not.
Nope.
What-
Having said that, though, for whatever, yeah, well,
What are you reading there, Chase?
this is the actuarial study. This is the actual study that's provided. You know, you're all 60 pages of it. It's cool. So anyway. Then if we continue through this, let's continue on this and if anyone wants a copy of that for some light reading, I'm happy to share it. It's
So it's not online, like where is it?
it's a report that's provided to the town administrator, and I got it because of pension. I mean, OPEB was on me, but I'm happy to, we share it with anyone.
Yeah.
If you want it.
Just because I just don't understand it, so it'd be nice to.
It's like very confusing.
There is a
And it's
reason,
all like fake, you know.
there's a reason,
I looked through, I found it very, very confusing. I
Yeah.
couldn't match numbers
Oh,
from
well,
like
then
one
forget
page to
it.
the
I'm
next.
Never gonna.
A huge.
I understand the question. I just wanted to know, is like, if we keep on our plan, like, when are we done? And that was not obvious.
no, it's not.
It's not obvious
We
at
can
all.
actually be going
Because the
backwards.
assumptions change every year.
Yeah, every other year.
I was thinking like, oh, we can make a quick bar graph. No.
No. There is a reason why actuarial science is 11 tests, or what used to be 11 tests, and the average pass rate on each test was less than 40%. And you take a test every 6 to 9 months.
Oh, God.
Because I started in that career path and then I exited. Because I said, there is no way I can spend the next 7 years of my life studying for exams
No.
that are 6 or 9 months out. Yeah. Well. Anyway, so capital stabilization fund, looking to put 157,000 into it right now. And general stabilization, 300,000 as opposed to 296. And then tax levy, 335.
Those three numbers,
Yes,
I can understand why we want to bring the general stabilization back to where it was, but going forward, it would seem to me we would wanna put more money in the capital stabilization.
Why?
Because the capital stabilization, the concept is you take money, you use it.
Yeah.
In and out, in and out.
Yeah.
Where to me, the general stabilization is a rainy day fund.
Okay,
It's kind of dead money.
Yeah.
It isn't, but
it's meant to be,
we're,
yeah.
the capital, and we know we're gonna need the capital stabilization. Where the general it's like assurance policy.
Yeah.
That's my crude description
And that
of
was
it.
drawn on last year.
Huh?
We did draw on the
We
stabilization
drove right
clause,
down to,
right down
right down
to
to the minimum.
the
Everything.
floors.
But those two contributions, capital and general stabilization, those per policy, like a certain percent we're putting in, or is that, or that's just kind of?
We just have minimums.
We have
in our
minimums to
policy.
hold in the account, not how much to put in.
Okay. Are they
Um,
capped at all? How much you can?
Well,
It's like a crazy cap,
Yeah.
it's like really high.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Cap
So-
on how much you can put in or like total balance or?
Total
balance.
Total balance, okay.
yeah, don't worry about it.
And just to confirm my
We could
understanding,
take all of this and put in one of those and it still wouldn't come close to that.
the capital stabilization fund, we can use that to pay capital debt.
Capital debt.
In other words, if we take out bonds
Oh,
or
really?
Masco takes out bonds,
Yeah.
we can take funds from this.
Yeah.
To pay our portion of the capital expenses.
He's shaking his head, no, I've
thought-
never
I thought
heard
we
of
did
that.
Sorry, I missed it, I missed the question. What was it?
The capital stabilization fund,
Yes,
can we use that to pay debt? Capital debt?
no.
I was
no.
told yes, but
Oh, if you've taken out the debt to pay for the capital?
No, meaning after you've already taken the
Got it.
capital,
Yeah.
the debt.
so we buy a fire engine for 1.1 million and take out a
We-
bond
we-
on it. We pay the bond out of this fund,
Oh, no, as an ongoing expense? No.
right?
No. 'cause
Well, the first problem you'd have with that is that since this isn't getting funded, is that the rating agencies would rip you a new one.
Right, cause it's like a recurrent cost.
It's a recurring cost that you're paying, your funding source is known to be a stabilization account.
There's another little hidden
Yeah.
piece there, you can play the interest rate difference.
If it is,
We
yeah,
borrow, municipal tax-free rate, and yet on the market, we can get the regular rate, so.
so I think the way you do that is you just keep funding this general stabilization account separately. Well, I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen or another after your first year.
Let me ask it a different way. If Masco is coming in looking for a $5 million OPM,
Mhm.
and our share of it is 1.5 million, could we pay that 1.5 million out of this? I think the answer is yes, it's a cap.
That, the answer is, could we? I believe you could,
Mhm.
particularly out of yes, actually, either of these two you could. OPM, I'm not sure if OPM, you guys know, does OPM qualify for, the OPM part of a project qualify, that's all you're being tasked with. So the risk you have on the I do know the answer, the risk you have is that you could pay the OPM out of the capital, except if they then said, oh, no, we're not doing this.
Mm.
You've just put yourself in a bad hole. Because you've now paid for something that it has to come, is no longer a capital expense.
Mhm.
Well. Coach.
I'm not trying to advocate it.
Yeah, I know, we're just looking,
But
Creative.
yeah,
just, what are the options here?
The only other thing to keep in mind too is like our minimums are going up every year.
Yeah.
Because our
Budget
budget
is going up.
so.
And that
we will
entire
have to
project's
keep
gonna be a
track.
debt exclusion vote of some sort, I would
Yes.
assume, right? So
yes,
That last one is a good one to talk about though. Reduction in the tax rate, the tax levy. We kind of let this slide in years past until the last moment. The issue I have is we've used that monies to balance the budget.
Yep.
Not to reduce the tax levy.
we've always done that, and when I say always, 20 odd years.
Huh?
20+ years of doing that.
I know,
I'm not, and I agree with you, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying that is,
I'm not either,
Yeah.
but we should know exactly what we're doing.
yeah. Okay. All right,
Just a question.
Yeah.
335 to reduce the tax levy, Amanda?
Mhm.
the town budget as it currently stands was like 290 or something like that over guideline. That's without this offsetting it,
That
right?
is with this offset. So essentially that 290 is above and beyond what you guys have allocated as guideline. And that 335, I believe we had in the model when you allocated out that 2.25. If you look
Because
at,
that's the same as last year, right?
last year, yes.
Yeah.
And like, so essentially if we took it out, we'd be in the hole 335,000.
additional.
In addition to.
So, but traditionally, that's how we manage the budget. We start, and we start with not this in. We know it'll end up being there, to your point about budget, but we look at the budget excluding that number, the 335. And we look across everything. So we look at all of the expense side before we do this entry as an adjusting at the end, to your point, to bring the budget down to a balanced number.
I'm still trying to understand that Kevin's letter was very, very clear in terms of, you know, this is what the guideline budget was, 250 or something. The current budget is over guideline by 290. Is that with or without putting in 335 free cash?
That is with the 335 in them.
So
So
he-
God, so the spending is,
Well, so, but last year we put what in?
we did
35 last year as well.
305.
So
305.
spending year to
305.
year did go up by that much, but he's presupposing that we're putting in what we put in last year. Right?
I don't know if that's true.
Did we put 305 last year?
305 last year, but
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the model Mike updated. He has 0 in right now for free cash.
But we're over
tax levy.
600 in that one, right?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
623.
623.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm showing over around 300, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a
That's the
335.
difference.
So he's assuming that the 335 is being put in, and traditionally in past years, we haven't worked from that point. We've worked from, here's your budget, here's where it is, where do we end up? But ultimately, the 305 to the 305 would be apples to apples. The extra 30 is moving ahead, is the piece that,
And we
Isn't-
baked it into our guideline, basically. We sort of baked it into our guideline.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
so
well, because you had it in there last year. So you-
Something
the
to know.
guideline for the town is without the 305 in there?
No, so their budget, remember, their guideline is budget to budget.
Correct,
So their budget included the 305.
correct, so it's in there.
So it's in there. Last year's budget included the 305,
Right.
so it's in there.
Right.
This year's budget should, in theory, if you want to do apples to apples, include 305. Because what you're saying is their budget was, 12 million, whatever it is, regardless of that 305.
And down,
Yeah, the 30,000 addition in this is the piece that is hiding an increase in their budget, if you will. Or counterbalancing, hiding's the wrong word, but is counteracting for a piece of their budget.
it's keeping it at 1% or something.
Yeah. But,
It's our free cash, the amount we have extra, that's all into free
Yeah.
cash each year.
although I'm still reminded of your points as well, as we talk this through more. 715,000 was definitely a one-time thing, and we're spending over 500 of that here.
Yeah, and that 715, we're not generating new monies.
Right.
This is not like the 400,000.
Right. No,
This is just breaking into your kid's piggy bank to buy beer, it's just, it's a one-time shot.
but that's no, because that is a very valid use of my kids' piggy bank.
Yeah.
As long as you know.
All right, it is 8:15. Anything else on this? I'm not trying to push us out, but I'm trying to push us forward.
I did have a question.
Good.
We as a FinCom vote on each of these uses of free cash, is that correct?
Correct, because each of these are a warrant article.
Right.
Each of these are an actual, well, some of them are, let me see, yeah, every one of these is its own standalone. I was looking to see if any of them had been combined together, but it's all standalone.
Because last year we didn't really have any capital requests.
Yeah.
That's right, so, okay.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
should
we
be
had
part
the
of
Tri-Town
warrant.
Council and the Council on Aging.
Yes, we had those. Yeah,
too, and that might have been about it.
so this year we'll have quite a few more warrant articles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amanda, do you have actual quotes on a lot of these capital items, or are they just,
I'd say 50-50.
yeah, because a lot of them I saw, you know, per this, per that.
Yeah. I think most of them have it, but like the storage buildings, I don't know that they have real set quotes or ideas. I think there have been discussions.
Yeah, they had pictures of a two-car garage, two garage doors.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. Other questions?
Yep.
Anything? Yeah,
I just want
please.
to follow up on the discussion about the library. This would be
Yeah.
my understanding of the pool fund. Pool fund has two parts, A and B. It's a very old fund. It's got most of the money that the town has in trust. It's managed by the trust people. But the two parts of the original one were for media and for arts. When they redid the library at the turn of the century, in 2000, they went to the courts and said that it's unreasonable to be able to put media in there without the structures to support it. And essentially got a dispensation to say, yes, you can use that media part of the fund
Yeah.
to fund the payments for the bonding on that article. So it's really not for maintenance of the library. It's for media and the other is for arts.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of problem almost spending money on the arts.
Yeah.
That's what they have.
Yeah.
But this is all under the commissions of the trusts.
Right.
And it's up to them to read the
And interpret.
bequeath
Yeah.
and determine what it is and get into trouble perhaps with the law because somebody could complain because, well, this is what the bequeath, oh, I don't think so, you know, and get
Yeah.
that kind of fight. But basically, the thought is it's really not there for maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maintenance, no, but I understood it, and maybe I'm wrong, I appreciate, I understood it to be to enhance, not maintaining, but enhancing the space that it was a permissible expense. I'm not sure what that means, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not sure what it means, but that's part of that clarity of dialogue and conversation
And it may vary over the years
Yeah.
based on
who's the trustees and, yeah.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that it would, though, so for example,
I didn't want to drag it out.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
wanted to make that.
okay,
Two things, media and arts.
all right, excuse me, our next meeting is 2 weeks from today, where we will be talking about reviewing the town administrator, water and assessors, what's on the docket. Is there anything anyone else wants to add to the agenda for next week, for 2 weeks? Anything else anyone has?
You know, just share that, Michael, your
Well, yep, I'll send it around.
You'll send that, I owe you the, presentation.
Is it our responsibility to let the departments know when they're coming, or will? Office know
Water you should do,
Okay,
and talk with them, Kevin will as well.
yeah,
Town and, but yes, you should be communicating with them.
Okay.
Assessors as well as, actually is. Town administrator, I already did, so I guess that goes up. I think when it talks to clerk, accounting, conscom, you can mention it to them, but they're also gonna know because Kevin will say it as well.
okay.
Anybody have anything else? What are we missing? I know one thing we're missing.
Motion to adjourn.
Catherine.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Catherine was lined up, ready to go.
You're off mute. I second.
Yeah. So we have a first, we have a second. Roll call, starting on the right, Heidi, Tom,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Shay, aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you in 2 weeks.